Good afternoon and welcome to the Rundown. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for today, the 30th of December. Vice President Mike Pence refused to sign a plan to overturn the election. And President Donald Trump slammed Mitch McConnell for blocking the vote on the $2,000 stimulus checks. And a federal judge who just happens to be the sister of Stacey Abrams halts Georgia's voter purge ahead of the runoff election. And a Louisiana congressman-elect dies of COVID. Luke Letlow was to be sworn in on Sunday. And body bags placed outside of Alabama's courthouse to protest the Confederate monument flag. And police and federal officers are investigating a fire at a black church in Massachusetts. And a black man spent 10 days in jail after he was misidentified by a facial recognition machine. And Boston removes a statue of a slave kneeling before Lincoln. The statue was to be placed in storage until the city decides whether it should be in a museum. Let's get to the news. Representative Louis Gohmert, Republican out of Texas, and Arizona's 11 electors filed a lawsuit against Vice President Mike Pence on Monday in an attempt to argue that the Vice President has the sole authority to determine which presidential electors Congress will count when it certifies the results of the election. The far-fetched suit essentially asks the court to grant Pence the authority on January 6 to overrule the results in swing states such as Arizona and have Congress count only pro-Trump electors instead of the ones that actual President-elect Joe Biden actually won. Lawyers representing Representative Louis Gohmert of Texas and the Arizona 11 GOP electors enclosed in court filings on Tuesday that Vice President Mike Pence rejected their request to join their attempt to subvert the results of the presidential election. The decision by Pence, one of President Donald Trump's most overt loyalists, marks one of the most notable breaks from his boss, who has pushed lawmakers to challenge Congress' certification of the Electoral College results. Pence will oversee the joint session on January 6, during which Biden will be recognized by Congress as the victor in the White House election, though the role is largely ceremonial. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican out of Kentucky, on Tuesday blocked the request to hold a vote on a floor standalone measure that would boost the size of the stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000 per person. President Donald Trump had demanded that the payments be increased, creating a rift between him and the Senate GOP leadership ahead of a crucial runoff election in Georgia that will determine the control of the chamber. In a tweet on Tuesday afternoon, the useless Republicans have a death wish, and it is also the right thing to do. They must approve the $2,000 payment ASAP, President Donald Trump tweeted. Mitch McConnell did not explain why he objected to Schumer's request for a fast-track the bill, but noted that President Donald Trump has demanded Congress act on repealing liability protections for tech companies and election-related reforms, in addition to stimulus money. Both Senator Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, both Republicans out of Georgia, who are in a run for their life in the Senate runoffs starting January 5th, both came out to support the $2,000 checks earlier on Tuesday. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont had pledged to delay the Senate plan to override Trump's veto of a crucial defense spending package unless Mitch McConnell holds a full record vote on the direct payment measure, keeping the Senate in session during the holiday week and disrupting Loeffler's and Perdue's campaign plans. A federal judge on Monday sided with the voting rights organization seeking to prevent two counties from purging thousands of targeted voters from their voting rolls less than 2 weeks ahead of the state's highly consequential state runoff election. The controversy stems from the election board in Ben Hill County and Mesquite County voting to remove the names of more than 4,000 individuals who they claim had moved out of state based on unverified data obtained by the National Change of Address Registry. The U.S. District Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner, the sister of former Democratic gubernatorial candidate and prominent voting rights activist Stacey Abrams, joined both counties from removing the targeted voters from the regular voting rolls. Gardner held that purging the targeted voters likely violated the National Voters Registration Act, which requires individuals to confirm their change of address in writing before being purged, as well as the U.S. Constitution. Under Gardner's order, the counties cannot force targeted voters to cast provisional ballots or request additional information for mail-in ballots until after the 5th of January's runoff election. The pair of elections will determine whether Republicans will keep their majority in the Senate. If Democrats win both elections, the Vice President-elect Kamala Harris emerges as the potential tiebreaker. Letlow, who served as the chief of staff for former Republican Ralph Abrams, a Republican out of Louisiana, before being elected to fill the seat, was supposed to be sworn in to Congress on Sunday. He is the first member or member-elect to die from the coronavirus, though dozens of lawmakers have tested positive for COVID-19 over the past year. Letlow leaves behind a wife and 2 small children. He was intentionally admitted to the Monroe Hospital on December 19th, but was transferred and placed in ICU last week when his condition deteriorated. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi also paid tribute to Congressman-elect Letlow, saying this: Congressman-elect Letlow was a 9th-generation Louisian who fought passionately for his point of view and dedicated his life to public service. And as the House grieves Congressman Letlow's passing, our sorrow is compounded by the grief of so many other families who have also suffered lives cut short by this terrible virus. May it be a comfort to Luke's wife and their children that so many mourn their loss and are praying for them at this sad time. An Alabama courthouse is the site of months of protests regarding Confederate monuments and a flag that are displayed outside. The protests have intensified their efforts by placing prop body bags outside of the courthouse. According to CNN, the bags were placed outside of the Marshall County's courthouse in Albertville by a 24-year-old organizer by the name of Unique Morgan Dunstan and two other protesters, as a way to emphasize what the Confederacy was truly fighting for, especially the bags, as well as the 150 wooden dolls, which are meant to represent slaves owned by the former U.S. Chief Justice John Marshall, the man who gave Marshall County its name. The strangest thing about this Southern heritage argument that gets wielded out every time we talk about a Confederate monument is that it really doesn't hold much weight when you look around the globe. There isn't too many statues of Adolf Hitler up beyond historical preservations in museums. And quite honestly, I don't think folks would have a beef if these Confederate statues were regulated to Civil War museums that would actually be using them in the way they were intended, to inform people about the history of this country. But to put them in public spaces with loving tributes like the Marshall Monument, which reads, "In loving memory of the brave Confederate soldier of Marshall County," isn't remembering history. It is celebrating a group of people who portrayed their country for a moral, unjust war. And be sure to join Jay Wilson, Rebel Sun, The Official Campaign, Conscious TV, and Captivating Christian this and every Thursday at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time for the Gentleman's Panel, where we are not afraid to go there and discuss an array of topics. See you there. According to ABC News, the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Presbyterian Church caught on fire during the early hours of Monday morning. Firefighters responded to a 5 a.m. call, and it took them nearly an hour to extinguish the fire. The Springfield Fire Commissioners told NBC that the fire was highly suspicious, as there was 3 other fires in the general area just last week. Officials are currently investigating the premises to ensure that there wasn't an accidental cause to the fire. Firefighters did not see anyone around or inside the church at the time of their arrival. It was said that the fire was so damaging that it rendered the church unusable. This was even more heartbreaking due to the fact that the congregation recently replaced the roof after staging a successful fundraising campaign. Springfield Police and FBI are currently searching the area for any leads. The FBI has joined the investigation as a sheer fact that it was a black church set on fire in the middle of the night, which means it could possibly be a hate crime. The ATF has also joined the investigation, along with the Massachusetts State Police Arson and Bomb Division. Hey, this is Captivating Christian here to remind you to tune in to Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. A black man is suing the New Jersey Police Department after he says he spent 10 days in jail for being misidentified by facial recognition technology. In the early year of 2019, the police were called to a shoplifting incident at the Hampton Inn Hotel in Woodbridge, New Jersey. The suspect fled the scene, however, clipping a police car with his vehicle on the way out. Weeks later, a man by the name of Najir Parks learned that the police had issued a warrant for his arrest. Parks, who doesn't even own a driver's license, told the New Jersey Advanced Media that he had his cousin drive him to the police station to clear his name. According to the New Jersey Advance Media, Parks fought his charges and ultimately got them dismissed. Parks' attorney says that the police and prosecutors pursued his client based only on the evidence provided through the facial recognition technology. The incident would not be the only case of mistaken identity via the facial recognition technology, which experts have said has a racial bias and be less accurate with non-white skin tones. In Parker's lawsuit, his attorney reportedly accused the police of excessive force, false imprisonment, and cruel and unusual punishment, and is seeking compensation for physical and emotional suffering. In January, about a year after the shoplifting incident at the center of Parks' case, the New Jersey Attorney General said that the city has ordered the police to stop using the facial recognition technology. A statue of Abraham Lincoln with a freed slave appearing to kneel at his feet, optics that drew objection amidst a national reckoning of racial injustice, had been removed from its perch in downtown Boston. Workers removed the Emancipation Memorial, also known as the Emancipation Group, and the Freedmen's Memorial early Tuesday from the park just off Boston Common, where it stood since 1879. City officials had agreed in late June to take down the memorial after complaints and a bitter debate over the design. The mayor of the city acknowledged that at the time, the statue made residents and visitors alike uncomfortable. The bronze statue is a copy of a monument that was erected in D.C. 3 years earlier. The copy was installed in Boston because the city was home of the statue's white creator, Thomas Ball. It was created to celebrate the freeing of slaves in America, and was based on Archer Alexander, a black man who escaped slavery, helped the Union Army, and was the last man recaptured under the Fugitive Slave Act. Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.